Ancient magic versus modern religion. Are they the same? Discover the fascinating connections between religion and magic in our article. We explore the power of symbols in religion and their surprising similarities to ancient sigils used in magic. Delve into the transformative nature of religious ceremonies like the Eucharist and see how they compare to alchemical practices. Learn about the role of prayers and chants as spells, and uncover the shared purpose of sacred spaces in both realms. Join us on this eye-opening journey and gain a deeper understanding of these mystical traditions. The power of symbols. Symbols have always held a profound power in both religion and magic, serving as bridges between the physical and spiritual realms. In religious contexts, symbols like the cross in Christianity, the Om in Hinduism, and the Star of David in Judaism are not merely decorative elements, but are imbued with deep spiritual significance. These symbols represent the core beliefs and divine presence within their respective faiths. For instance, the cross symbolizes the sacrifice and resurrection of Jesus Christ, offering believers a tangible connection to their faith and the divine. Similarly, the Om is considered the primordial sound of the universe in Hinduism, encapsulating the essence of the ultimate reality and consciousness. The Star of David, with its interlocking triangles, represents the connection between God and humanity, heaven and earth. In ancient magical traditions, symbols such as sigils, runes, and talismans were used to invoke specific energies and intentions. These symbols were meticulously crafted and charged with the practitioner's intent, serving as focal points for magical workings. Sigils, for example, are unique symbols created to represent a specific desire or goal. The process of creating and activating a sigil involves focusing one's intent and energy, thereby imbuing the symbol with power. Runes, on the other hand, are ancient alphabets used in various magical traditions, each character holding specific meanings and magical properties. Talismans are objects inscribed with symbols and believed to possess protective or beneficial powers. The similarities between religious symbols and magical sigils are striking. Both serve as conduits for spiritual energy, connecting the practitioner with higher powers or divine entities. In both contexts, the act of creating or using these symbols involves a deep level of intention and focus. Whether it is a religious symbol or a magical sigil, the practitioner's belief and intent play a crucial role in activating the symbol's power. This shared emphasis on intention highlights the universal human desire to connect with the divine and harness spiritual energy. Moreover, both religious symbols and magical sigils often incorporate elements of sacred geometry. Sacred geometry refers to the use of geometric shapes and patterns that are believed to hold spiritual significance. In religious art and architecture, sacred geometry is used to create spaces and symbols that resonate with divine harmony and order. For example, the intricate designs of mandalas in Buddhism and Hinduism are based on sacred geometric principles, representing the universe and the path to enlightenment. Similarly, magical sigils often incorporate geometric shapes to enhance their power and effectiveness. The use of sacred geometry in both contexts underscores the belief in a divine order that can be accessed and harnessed through symbolic representation. Another fascinating similarity is the use of symbols in rituals and ceremonies. In religious practices, symbols are often used in rituals to invoke divine presence and blessings. For instance, the use of holy water, incense, and candles in Christian rituals symbolizes purification, prayer, and the presence of the Holy Spirit. In Hindu rituals, the use of symbols like the swastika and the lotus flower represents auspiciousness and spiritual purity. These symbols are not merely decorative, but are integral to the ritual's effectiveness, serving as tangible representations of spiritual concepts. In magical practices, symbols play a central role in rituals and spellwork. The casting of a magic circle, for example, involves the use of symbols to create a sacred space for the ritual. The circle itself is a powerful symbol of protection and unity, while the symbols inscribed within it serve to invoke specific energies and entities. Similarly, the use of symbols in spellwork involves inscribing or visualizing the symbol to focus and direct the practitioner's intent. The effectiveness of the ritual or spell is believed to depend on the practitioner's ability to connect with and activate the symbol's power. The transformative power of symbols is another common thread between religion and magic. In religious contexts, symbols are often used to facilitate spiritual transformation and growth. The act of wearing a religious symbol, such as a cross or a rosary, is believed to offer protection and spiritual benefits to the wearer. Similarly, the use of symbols in religious rituals, such as the Eucharist in Christianity, is believed to facilitate a profound spiritual transformation. The Eucharist, where bread and wine are consecrated and consumed, symbolizes the body and blood of Christ, offering believers a tangible connection to the divine and a means of spiritual renewal. In magical practices, symbols are used to facilitate personal and spiritual transformation. The creation and activation of a sigil, for example, is a transformative process that involves focusing one's intent and energy to manifest a specific desire or goal. The use of talismans and amulets, inscribed with protective symbols, is believed to offer protection and enhance the wearer's spiritual and personal power. The transformative power of symbols in both contexts highlights the universal human desire for growth, protection, and connection with the divine. The use of symbols in both religion and magic also reflects the human need for meaning and connection. Symbols serve as tangible representations of abstract spiritual concepts, making them accessible and relatable to the practitioner. Whether it is a religious symbol or a magical sigil, the act of creating or using the symbol involves a deep level of engagement and connection with the spiritual realm. This shared emphasis on meaning and connection underscores the universal human desire to understand and connect with the divine. The power of symbols in religion and their surprising similarities to ancient sigils used in magic reveal a deep and universal human desire to connect with the divine and harness spiritual energy. Both religious symbols and magical sigils serve as conduits for spiritual energy, facilitating rituals, transformation, and connection with higher powers. The shared emphasis on intention, sacred geometry, and the transformative power of symbols highlights the universal human quest for meaning, growth, and connection with the divine. By exploring these fascinating connections, we gain a deeper understanding of the mystical traditions that continue to shape human spirituality. Transformative ceremonies. The transformative nature of religious ceremonies like the Eucharist and their comparison to alchemical practices reveal profound insights into the human quest for spiritual growth and connection with the divine. The Eucharist, a central sacrament in Christianity, symbolizes the body and blood of Christ, offering believers a tangible connection to the divine and a means of spiritual renewal. This ceremony, rooted in the Last Supper, involves the consecration of bread and wine, which are believed to become the actual body and blood of Christ through the process of transubstantiation. This transformation is not merely symbolic, but is considered a miraculous change that embodies the presence of Christ. The Eucharist serves as a profound spiritual experience, facilitating a deep communion with the divine and a renewal of faith. This transformative power is reflected in the lives of believers who testify to the profound impact of the Eucharist on their spiritual journey. The act of receiving the Eucharist is seen as a moment of grace, where the believer is spiritually nourished and strengthened, experiencing a renewal of faith and a deeper connection with Christ. In comparison, alchemical practices, rooted in ancient traditions, also emphasize transformation, but in a different context. Alchemy, often seen as a precursor to modern chemistry, involves the transformation of base materials into noble substances, such as turning lead into gold. However, alchemy is not merely a physical process, but also a spiritual one. Alchemists believed that the transformation of materials mirrored the transformation of the soul. The process of alchemy, with its stages of purification, dissolution, and coagulation, symbolizes the spiritual journey of the practitioner. The ultimate goal of alchemy is the attainment of the philosopher's stone, a substance believed to grant immortality and spiritual enlightenment. This quest for transformation reflects the alchemist's desire for spiritual growth and connection with the divine. The parallels between the Eucharist and alchemical practices are striking. Both involve a process of transformation that is deeply symbolic and spiritual. In the Eucharist, the transformation of bread and wine into the body and blood of Christ symbolizes the believer's spiritual renewal and communion with the divine. In alchemy, the transformation of base materials into noble substances symbolizes the practitioner's spiritual journey and quest for enlightenment. Both practices emphasize the importance of intention and focus in achieving transformation. In the Eucharist, the consecration of the bread and wine is performed with deep reverence and intention, invoking the presence of Christ. Similarly, in alchemy, the transformation of materials is performed with focused intention and spiritual discipline, reflecting the alchemist's quest for spiritual growth. The use of symbols in both practices further highlights their transformative nature. In the Eucharist, the bread and wine are powerful symbols of Christ's sacrifice and presence. These symbols serve as tangible representations of spiritual concepts, making them accessible and relatable to the believer. In alchemy, symbols such as the philosopher's stone, the Ouroboros, and the alchemical wedding represent different stages of the alchemical process and the practitioner's spiritual journey. These symbols serve as focal points for meditation and reflection, guiding the practitioner on their path to transformation. The transformative power of the Eucharist and alchemical practices also reflects the universal human desire for growth and connection with the divine. Both practices offer a means of transcending the mundane and accessing higher spiritual realms. The Eucharist provides believers with a tangible connection to Christ, offering spiritual nourishment and renewal. Alchemical practices offer practitioners a path to spiritual enlightenment and transformation, reflecting the alchemist's quest for immortality and divine wisdom. The emphasis on ritual and ceremony in both practices further underscores their transformative nature. The Eucharist is celebrated with a formal liturgy, involving prayers, hymns, and the consecration of the bread and wine. This ritual serves as a sacred moment of communion with the divine, facilitating a deep spiritual experience for the believer. Similarly, alchemical practices involve elaborate rituals and ceremonies, often performed in a sacred space. These rituals serve as a means of focusing the practitioner's intention and energy, facilitating the process of transformation. The transformative nature of the Eucharist and alchemical practices also highlights the importance of community and tradition. The Eucharist is celebrated within the context of the Christian community, reflecting the shared faith and beliefs of the congregation. This communal aspect of the Eucharist reinforces the believer's connection to the larger body of Christ and the Church. Alchemical practices, while often performed individually, are also rooted in a rich tradition of knowledge and wisdom passed down through generations. The alchemist's quest for transformation is guided by the teachings and practices of those who came before, reflecting a deep connection to the alchemical tradition. The transformative power of the Eucharist and alchemical practices also reflects the universal human desire for meaning and purpose. Both practices offer a means of transcending the mundane and accessing higher spiritual realms. The Eucharist provides believers with a tangible connection to Christ, offering spiritual nourishment and renewal. Alchemical practices offer practitioners a path to spiritual enlightenment and transformation, reflecting the alchemist's quest for immortality and divine wisdom. The emphasis on ritual and ceremony in both practices further underscores their transformative nature. The Eucharist is celebrated with a formal liturgy, involving prayers, hymns, and the consecration of the bread and wine. This ritual serves as a sacred moment of communion with the divine, facilitating a deep spiritual experience for the believer. Similarly, alchemical practices involve elaborate rituals and ceremonies, often performed in a sacred space. These rituals serve as a means of focusing the practitioner's intention and energy, facilitating the process of transformation. Prayers and chants as spells. The role of prayers and chants as spells is a fascinating exploration into the power of words and their ability to influence reality. Throughout history, both religious and magical traditions have recognized the profound impact of spoken words, using them to invoke divine energy, manifest desires, and bring about change. Prayers and chants, often considered sacred utterances, serve as powerful tools for spiritual connection and transformation. In religious contexts, prayers are seen as a means of communicating with the divine, seeking guidance, blessings, and intervention. The act of praying involves a deep level of intention and focus, with the belief that the spoken words carry the practitioner's desires and intentions to the divine realm. This belief in the power of words is rooted in the understanding that words are not merely symbols, but carriers of energy and intention. When spoken with conviction and faith, prayers are believed to create a direct link between the practitioner and the divine, facilitating a flow of divine energy and blessings. Similarly, chants in religious practices involve the rhythmic repetition of sacred words or phrases. This repetition serves to focus the practitioner's mind and align their energy with the divine. Chants are often used in meditation and ritual practices to create a state of heightened spiritual awareness and connection. The rhythmic nature of chants helps to induce a meditative state, allowing the practitioner to transcend the mundane and access higher realms of consciousness. In this state, the practitioner is believed to be more receptive to divine guidance and blessings, facilitating a deeper spiritual experience. In magical traditions, incantations and spells are used to harness the power of words to influence reality and bring about desired outcomes. Incantations are spoken or chanted words that are believed to have magical properties. These powerful utterances are often used in rituals and ceremonies to invoke specific energies, intentions, or outcomes. The act of speaking or chanting these words is thought to create vibrations that resonate with the energetic frequencies of the universe, thereby influencing the desired change or manifestation. The power of incantations lies in the belief that words carry inherent energy and have the ability to shape reality. When spoken with intention and focus, incantations are believed to program the practitioner's subconscious mind with the desired outcome, aligning their thoughts, emotions, and actions towards the manifestation of their goals. This focused repetition of incantations helps to create a powerful energetic charge that propels the practitioner towards their desired outcome. Chants in magical practices serve a similar purpose, involving the rhythmic repetition of words or phrases to focus the practitioner's mind and align their energy with their goals. Chants are often used in spellwork to enhance the effectiveness of the spell, creating a multi-dimensional experience that amplifies the potency and impact of the words. The use of symbolic gestures, rituals, and tools in conjunction with chants further enhances their effectiveness, deepening the practitioner's focus and connection to the energies being invoked. The similarities between prayers, chants, and spells are striking, reflecting a universal understanding of the power of words. In both religious and magical contexts, the act of speaking or chanting sacred words is believed to create a direct link between the practitioner and the divine or universal energies. This link facilitates the flow of divine energy and blessings, bringing about the desired change or manifestation. The emphasis on intention and focus in both practices highlights the importance of the practitioner's belief and conviction in the power of their words. Whether it is a prayer, chant, or spell, the practitioner's intention and focus play a crucial role in activating the power of the words and bringing about the desired outcome. The use of repetition in both practices further underscores the importance of focus and intention. The rhythmic repetition of words in prayers, chants, and spells serves to align the practitioner's mind and energy with their goals, creating a powerful energetic charge that propels them towards manifestation. This repetition also helps to reinforce the practitioner's belief and conviction in the power of their words, strengthening the impact of the words on their reality. The role of prayers and chants as spells also reflects the universal human desire for connection and transformation. Both practices offer a means of transcending the mundane and accessing higher spiritual realms. Prayers and chants provide practitioners with a tangible connection to the divine, offering spiritual nourishment and renewal. Similarly, spells offer practitioners a means of harnessing universal energies to bring about desired changes in their reality. This shared emphasis on connection and transformation highlights the universal human quest for meaning, growth, and connection with the divine. The use of symbolic gestures, rituals, and tools in both practices further enhances their effectiveness, creating a multi-dimensional experience that amplifies the potency and impact of the words. In religious practices, the use of holy water, incense, and candles in conjunction with prayers and chants serves to create a sacred space and invoke divine presence. Similarly, in magical practices, the use of symbolic tools such as wands, crystals, and candles in conjunction with spells and chants serves to enhance the practitioner's focus and connection to the energies being invoked. These additional elements serve to deepen the practitioner's focus, intention, and connection to the divine or universal energies, creating a powerful energetic charge that propels them towards their desired outcome. The historical significance of prayers, chants, and spells further underscores their transformative power. Throughout history, cultures around the world have recognized the power of words and used them in various forms of spiritual and magical practices. Ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans, used incantations and chants in their religious and magical rituals, believing in the power of words to invoke divine energy and bring about desired outcomes. Similarly, indigenous cultures around the world have used prayers, chants, and spells in their spiritual practices, recognizing the power of words to connect with the divine and manifest their desires. This historical recognition of the power of words reflects a universal understanding of the transformative nature of prayers, chants, and spells, highlighting their enduring significance in human spirituality. In conclusion, the role of prayers and chants as spells reveals a profound understanding of the power of words and their ability to influence reality. Both religious and magical traditions recognize the transformative nature of spoken words, using them to invoke divine energy, manifest desires, and bring about change. The similarities between prayers, chants, and spells reflect a universal understanding of the power of words, highlighting the importance of intention, focus, and repetition in activating their transformative power. The use of symbolic gestures, rituals, and tools further enhances their effectiveness, creating a multi-dimensional experience that amplifies the potency and impact of the words. The historical significance of prayers, chants, and spells underscores their enduring significance in human spirituality. reflecting a universal human quest for connection, transformation, and meaning. By exploring the role of prayers and chants as spells, we gain a deeper understanding of the mystical traditions that continue to shape human spirituality, highlighting the universal power of words to connect with the divine and manifest our desires. Sacred spaces. Sacred spaces hold a profound significance in both religious and magical traditions, serving as sanctuaries where individuals can connect with the divine, perform rituals, and experience spiritual transformation. These spaces, whether they are churches, temples, mosques, or natural sites like mountains and rivers, are imbued with a sense of the sacred and are set apart for spiritual purposes. The shared purpose of sacred spaces in both realms reflects a universal human desire for connection, meaning, and transcendence. In religious contexts, sacred spaces are often designed and built for communal worship and spiritual activities. Churches, for example, are central to Christian worship, serving as places where believers gather to participate in rituals, receive sacraments, and experience a sense of community. The architecture and layout of churches are often designed to evoke a sense of awe and reverence, with elements like stained glass windows, altars, and statues serving as focal points for worship. Similarly, temples in Hinduism and Buddhism are designed to create a sacred atmosphere, with intricate carvings, statues of deities, and sacred symbols adorning the space. These elements serve to remind worshippers of the divine presence and facilitate a deeper connection with the spiritual realm. In magical traditions, sacred spaces are often created for the purpose of performing rituals and connecting with higher powers. These spaces can be as simple as a circle drawn on the ground, or as elaborate as a dedicated ritual room filled with symbolic tools and artifacts. The act of creating a sacred space in magic involves setting aside a specific area and imbuing it with spiritual energy through rituals and symbols. This process serves to create a boundary between the mundane and the sacred, allowing the practitioner to focus their intention and connect with the spiritual realm. The use of symbols, such as pentagrams, runes, and sigils, in magical sacred spaces serves to enhance the practitioner's connection with the energies being invoked and facilitate the effectiveness of the ritual. The shared purpose of sacred spaces in both religious and magical traditions is to create an environment that is conducive to spiritual work and connection with the divine. These spaces serve as sanctuaries where individuals can retreat from the distractions of the mundane world and focus on their spiritual practices. The act of entering a sacred space, whether it is a church, temple, or ritual circle, is often accompanied by a sense of reverence and intention, reflecting the practitioner's desire to connect with the divine and experience spiritual transformation. The use of sacred spaces in both realms also reflects the importance of community and tradition. In religious contexts, sacred spaces are often central to the life of the community, serving as places where believers gather to worship, celebrate, and support one another. The communal aspect of sacred spaces reinforces the shared beliefs and values of the community, creating a sense of belonging and connection. Similarly, in magical traditions, sacred spaces can serve as places where practitioners gather to perform rituals, share knowledge, and support one another in their spiritual journeys. The communal aspect of sacred spaces in both realms highlights the importance of connection and support in spiritual practices. The design and layout of sacred spaces in both religious and magical traditions often incorporate elements of sacred geometry. Sacred geometry refers to the use of geometric shapes and patterns that are believed to hold spiritual significance. In religious architecture, sacred geometry is used to create spaces that resonate with divine harmony and order. For example, the intricate designs of cathedrals and temples are often based on geometric principles, creating a sense of balance and symmetry that reflects the divine order. Similarly, in magical traditions, sacred geometry is used to create ritual spaces that enhance the practitioner's connection with the spiritual realm. The use of geometric shapes, such as circles, triangles, and squares, in ritual spaces serves to create a harmonious environment that facilitates the flow of spiritual energy. The use of symbols in sacred spaces further enhances their spiritual significance. In religious contexts, symbols such as crosses, statues of deities, and sacred texts serve as focal points for worship and meditation. These symbols are imbued with spiritual meaning and serve to remind worshippers of the divine presence. In magical traditions, symbols such as pentagrams, runes, and sigils are used to enhance the practitioner's connection with the energies being invoked. These symbols serve as focal points for meditation and intention, facilitating the effectiveness of the ritual. The use of symbols in sacred spaces reflects the universal human desire to connect with the divine and harness spiritual energy. The transformative power of sacred spaces is another shared aspect in both religious and magical traditions. In religious contexts, sacred spaces are often seen as places where individuals can experience spiritual renewal and transformation. The act of entering a sacred space, participating in rituals, and connecting with the divine is believed to facilitate a profound spiritual experience. Similarly, in magical traditions, sacred spaces are seen as places where practitioners can undergo personal and spiritual transformation. The act of creating and entering a sacred space, performing rituals, and connecting with higher powers is believed to facilitate a deep transformation of the practitioner's mind, body, and spirit. The historical significance of sacred spaces further underscores their shared purpose in both realms. Throughout history, cultures around the world have recognized the importance of sacred spaces and created places of worship and ritual that reflect their beliefs and values. Ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans, built temples and sanctuaries dedicated to their gods and goddesses, creating spaces that facilitated worship and connection with the divine. Similarly, indigenous cultures around the world have created sacred spaces in nature, recognizing the spiritual significance of mountains, rivers, and forests. These natural sacred spaces serve as places where individuals can connect with the divine and experience spiritual renewal. The historical recognition of the importance of sacred spaces reflects a universal understanding of their transformative power and significance in human spirituality. The shared purpose of sacred spaces in both religious and magical traditions reflects a universal human desire for connection, meaning, and transcendence. These spaces serve as sanctuaries where individuals can retreat from the distractions of the mundane world and focus on their spiritual practices. The use of sacred geometry, symbols, and rituals in sacred spaces enhances their spiritual significance and facilitates the practitioner's connection with the divine. The communal aspect of sacred spaces highlights the importance of connection and support in spiritual practices, creating a sense of belonging and shared purpose. The historical significance of sacred spaces underscores their enduring importance in human spirituality, reflecting a universal understanding of their transformative power. By exploring the shared purpose of sacred spaces in both realms, we gain a deeper understanding of the mystical traditions that continue to shape human spirituality, highlighting the universal human quest for connection, transformation, and meaning. Conclusion. While ancient magic and modern religion may seem distinct, they share many underlying principles and practices. Both utilize symbols, transformative rituals, the power of words, and sacred spaces to connect with the divine and manifest spiritual intentions. By exploring these fascinating connections, we gain a deeper understanding of the mystical traditions that continue to shape human spirituality.